Here we go.
Hello, Key Biscayne. It is Wednesday, November 4th, and this is your No One's Listening show. I'm your host, Rafa. To my left is Griff.
Hey ho.
His left is Manny.
Happy birthday, Mom.
His left is Gannon.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
All right. This is the show where we talk about stuff that's going on the Key. We'll start with a little trivia. This one's an obscure one. How much for a ticket to the Greg Allman show at the Marine Stadium on March 25th, 1974?
$17.95.
Okay. If you know the answer to that question, it's 305-361-8557. Manny wasn't even close.
It's a good one, though.
Yeah, it seems pretty expensive.
That is expensive. What year?
1974.
Oh, I thought you said 84.
No, 74, okay. Yeah.
Well, $7.95.
That's crazy inflation, too. All right, we start off with what we always start off with, which is Weekend Talk. Who did something this weekend? It was Halloween. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, it was Halloween. In fact, it was Anna on Halloween. Anna, I wonder what Anna did.
Oh, you want to play her thing? All right.
Let's patch Anna in here. Let's see what she did for Halloween.
Here's my weekend update in case you guys want to play it for the public, in case anybody's wondering how my weekend was. I did skip Halloween. I did it. So I decided it wasn't happening, and really just, came to terms with the fact that I was staying home and I was going to booze it up at home, and actually got excited to treat some trick-or-treaters. But no trick-or-treaters came, so that's my comment on my weekend, is that the Key Colony needs to step up their trick-or-treating game. And I know we've talked about going to houses and apartments and all that, but when I did trick-or-treating as a child in a building, the building would have people sign up for trick-or-treaters, and so you had a list ahead of time. And I kind of wish Key Colony did that. I even decorated my door, but, I got boozed up, but no trick-or-treaters, so it wasn't that exciting. Other than that, low-key weekend. And then some corner action last night with Rafa. It was fun. Okay, that's it. Weekend update complete.
But Anna, thank you very much. But no trick or treat action. Everyone decided to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I was about to point out the irony of what she was saying, that she wanted to skip Halloween, yet she was upset that other people had skipped Halloween.
It sounded like she did not skip Halloween. Anna, you did not skip Halloween. You.
But I appreciate that she pre-recorded a weekend update for us.
That's great.
But I saw her and Santi at Winn-Dixie on Halloween, and she's very clear that they were skipping Halloween. And
yeah, they were there.
I don't really think of it as a thing to skip,
Yeah, you know what they were doing at Winn-Dixie, G-Man? As they were getting ready to skip Halloween. They were buying candy.
Buying candy
and decorations, probably, so that they could not skip Halloween. So
they were just shifting their enjoyment of Halloween.
I guess so.
But they're upset that nobody goes to Key Colony. Come on. Get out of Key Colony. Get on the ground streets.
Have you been to Halloween in Key Biscayne?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't see it this year. Did you?
Oh, yeah. We were out there always. This year was unlike any other year that I've seen. Every year it's more and more. The what I call ground zero. I'll meet you at ground zero or whatever time.
Fortunate.
It's right by the kapok tree there on Glen Ridge and Woodcrest, Glen Ridge, and you couldn't even drive a cart through there.
A motorcycle.
Nothing. They had actually closed it all off.
Yeah, it was
insane.
Packed. Yeah.
So then it just turns into a bunch of house parties that you go from house to house, and you stop in and you're out in the street, or you go inside on the porch. That was about Halloween.
Cool. I went to a party at a friend's here in an apartment on the Key. That's Gannon went to. G-Man.
Wait a second.
What?
G-Man was not going to a party. You were skipping it too, G.
No, and if I did skip it, I wouldn't.
He was mocking.
I wouldn't make a statement that I was skipping Halloween, as if everybody was expecting me to make a big showing.
I'm still getting used to your sense of humor.
I'm sorry. I had a party to go to that, costumes or not, I would have gone to. And so me and a friend I had visiting from Boston went over there and just threw a costume together.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy. It was a good gathering.
What'd you go as?
She like dressed up as like a fox that got mistaken for a cat, and then I just like threw on a Elmer Fudd hat and brought my 22 with me, and I was the hunter.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And other people, Rafa probably had the best costume.
What was that?
It was all right. It was Bob Ross. I told you guys last week.
It was simple, but it was
Bob Ross, the
spot
painter.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I bet you didn't even need a wig.
Exactly what
I
he said.
was talking to people.
Did you tease it out?
When they taught, I'd had a wig, but afterwards I thought, man, if I would have gone to the salon and like gotten it puffed up, I think I could have done it without it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at you right now. I know there's a breeze out
it's
here.
Huge.
The balmy salt air. It's really turned into a Bob Ross. But so after the party, Rafa said, "Oh, can you give me a ride over to Mashta? There's a party over there." I said, "Okay, no problem. We'll give you a ride in the back of my golf cart." We get to like Mashta Bridge. My golf cart's starting to run kind of low. Rafa says, "No problem. You'll be fine. You'll get home. No, don't worry about it again." And whatever. We get to the party. There's like a bunch of young people there. Whatever. I mean, it looked like a pretty good party. I guess Rafa can update us on that. We dropped off Rafa and then we head back. And by the time I get to the Mashta Bridge, my golf cart was not moving anywhere. I was totally out of battery.
No.
You didn't see it on your way home?
No.
I just left it on the side of the road there. I totally ran out of battery. Yeah.
How'd you get it back?
The next day I picked up Lynn Kunkel, and she, I tied it to the back of my truck and just towed it back and brought it to the charger. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was,
I didn't think it would have. I mean,
it had some good juice to it, and it really very sharply fell off.
Yeah.
So it worked
you ran
out
out
fine.
of gas with your date?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's a good move right there. That's old school, man.
I took it to the next level. Ran out of electrons.
Electrons.
So I went to that party on Mashta afterwards, and that party, I'm not exactly sure who was throwing it. Somebody younger than me.
That's always a good sign.
There was a good number of people, but it wasn't like so many people that you couldn't hang out. And they had everything decorated. They had a full bar. And what they really had was just amazing costumes in there. There was our buddy Danny DB went as Ali G, and he was perfect.
Oh man,
he was so good. Like it was so I couldn't believe it when I saw him. I didn't expect him first to like go all out on a costume, and then he did. And then he looked just like him. And then the other one I saw that was amazing was my buddy Nando. He went as Beetlejuice, and it was perfect. And I was like, what? I mean, like, these people doing these great costumes, and you would never think it. And I asked him about it. He's like, yeah, I went to a thrift store. I found the suit. Then I dyed it purple, okay? And then he had everything. The makeup, the hair, the teeth, everything was just perfect. It was like, wow. My Bob Ross was just a little wig and the clothes I already have in my closet,
And
but
it
still worked out in the palette,
and
which I had to make. I made a palette out of cardboard. I didn't have an actual palette. And then I bought the brushes at CVS real quick. Right after I left my house, I bought the brushes.
Did you have a chance to get behind the character? Like do the pretty little...
A little bit, yeah. But not really. It was loud. It was more like a sight gag.
Did you apply paint to anybody? Because that would probably be fun too.
Well, the paint that I had on my fake palette was fake paint printed on a paper that I did in Photoshop so that it looked like it was on a palette.
Easy to manage.
Yeah.
How about you, Griff? What'd you dress as?
Oh, wait, one thing. You want to talk about Halloween? No, you didn't do anything for Halloween.
I didn't do anything for Halloween.
Friday we went to Jess Kunkel's 30th birthday at the beach club, and that was a really good time. His girlfriend Anna went all out and got him a bunch of cool stuff, and we played cornhole. And
what kind of stuff?
Well, the thing that really stood out to me was custom matchbooks that said Jess's 30th.
Like keep on smoking.
Yeah, well, just like match.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's a cool souvenir
some
from
of those?
the party.
Everybody got some?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was just cool.
Yeah.
Any mariachis?
No mariachis.
So my Halloween was spent moving between storage and the house I was renting. I learned a valuable lesson when it comes to renting and dealing with a landlord and deposits. I was expecting to get my deposit back. I left the house that I was renting in perfect shape and form, and the landlord pretty much tried to squeeze everything that was wrong that she had previously left and try to blame me for it.
How much? 1 month's rent, or?
No, it was a reasonable amount. It was like $1,000, but she tried to make up a bunch of frivolous things, and so I got to deal with that tomorrow.
What kind of things, Griff? We can go over there and patch it up a little bit.
Just small things. She said I stole a hammock, which I don't steal things, but
What? That's like the most random thing. I mean,
but lesson learned. Basically, whenever you're gonna rent, make sure that they take inventory of everything and take pictures and take videos, so you don't have any issues the day that you turn in your house or the apartment that you rented. But yeah, that was my weekend. Pretty much just moving.
Yeah. No Halloween for him either. Wow. A lot of Halloween skippers. Last night I went to the corner, which isn't really the weekend, but I've been going on Tuesdays, and it's dope. I really like it.
It's become the weekend.
I highly
for
recommend
you,
it.
That's the third weekend in a row. Week in a row.
Highly recommend that place.
I love how we call the weekend Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, it's still kind of the weekend. Oh, and then, well, there was something that happened between the weekend and Tuesday, which we could get into now if you guys want to talk about it.
Sure.
Yeah, because I have no news.
I'm looking at. Oh yeah, you weren't even there.
The softball you're talking about.
Softball season started. Our team, the Rat Radio team, faced the Key Rats in the opening game. So the big thing that changed out there, huge change, is that because we were playing 3 games a night, we're starting all the every time you go up
one
to
and
bat,
one count.
You go to the 1 and 1.
I asked you guys about that the other day, and you said no.
I didn't. This is news to me.
Yeah. So disadvantage.
So that means when you step up to the mic, or rather, is that
Step up to the plate. Yeah.
Step up to the plate, it's a 1 and 1 count already, and the idea is to speed up the game.
Exactly. So it's kind of,
Unfair.
It's what it is. I like it because I always try and draw the walk, so it helps me in that sense.
Shh, man, don't.
They know. All the pitchers are afraid of me.
Can I give you a tip on that? Crowd the plate.
Yeah, I do. And not only that, I use my body motions to kind of throw them off of
or
where
just go up there
where I'm actually standing.
Get all spazzy.
Yeah,
wave
exactly.
the bat around.
They don't know exactly.
I'm standing on the thing like a joke. I'm like, come on, throw me a strike.
That's exactly what I do. I kind of sway a little bit so that they're not sure where the place is to throw it. I got walked once. I struck out once, and I hit this one that went it was going to be perfect, right? It was going to be one of those right over the infield, and then it falls.
Texas Leaguer, they call him.
Yeah, and it got caught right at the edge.
The shortstop got it?
Yeah, it was a shortstop.
Who,
yeah.
Hardy? Craig Hardy?
No, it wasn't Craig playing shortstop. It's this other guy. I forget his name.
So what? How was the game?
I wasn't there. I had to work.
So Griff was there too. He's on our team now, which is sweet. And it was his debut.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
How did it go for you, Griff?
Actually, it was the first time.
He almost killed Alexa.
Yeah, so it was the first time for me playing baseball or softball in general, and since I was in 8th grade. So, I got a brand new glove. I was pretty psyched. But the night before, I kind of dreamed about batting and throwing the bat after hitting the ball. And lo and behold, it was my second time up to bat.
Wait a second. You were dreaming about batting and then what? Throwing it? Or in your dream you were releasing it by mistake?
Oh, well, releasing it by mistake. It's always by mistake.
So you were getting up in your dream? In
my dream. So,
okay.
And it actually came to fruition. Second time, my first up to bat, I didn't make it to first, but I hit the ball. Shortstop stopped it. Second time.
And you threw the bat?
The second time, the bat, it slipped out of my hand. And, so yeah, that was it. I had one error.
Was everybody okay? Or
yeah, everything was fine.
And I
almost hit Alexa, but
the thing is, here's the thing. My first season when I played, I had a problem where the bat was flying out of my hands too, but it was flying low. But Griff's bat, it flew right to where the opening is of the dugout, and it was head high or more. It was actually higher than head high. Thank God.
I could have taken a few people out.
Yeah. And it was fast. Mine would go, and it could have hit you in the leg and hurt or something. but his would have just like knocked someone out. It was nuts.
So
did they call you out on that or not?
Well, I mean,
Well, we all laughed, like,
after
crap.
but it,
But he didn't do it again, right?
No, I didn't do it again. But I learned my lesson, after 15 or 18 years of not playing. So yeah, it's just a matter of practice, and I'll be back on it.
And
next
how'd the
week.
other teams do? The Sons of Pitches, they probably won.
I couldn't stay because we had a dinner for Adri's birthday at Sushi Siam.
The Sons of Pitches demolished the Angry Narwhals,
The Narwhals.
27-1.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that means that the champs, my old team, must have been playing Harry's new team.
Yeah, I
And they
believe
crushed
they destroyed them as well.
25-6 or something. I saw
Yeah.
that score.
And we were like 18.
We lost by 4.
Yeah,
18 to 14.
And
Yeah,
we
of
started
course.
strong.
Of
We
course,
started
because you guys
strong.
are-
It's pretty good considering we were missing a lot of our key players.
It sounds like there's 3 teams, right?
Sure.
Oh, no, 4. Which is good. 4 teams. That's good.
Yeah, I mean-
you mean actual contenders?
Yeah, I mean, the Narwhals and Harry's team, they're just gonna get crushed
Yeah, of course.
all year. So, but that's all right.
But what about the
14 is
younger
good.
team? The younger team sounds like they have a lot of, because they're
Harry's
younger.
team, maybe.
They have talent. I wasn't out there, but they have a lot of talent. But I have a feeling they just kind of got all their friends together, and they have a lot of people who haven't played since they were in 8th grade, such as yourself.
about
and
softball.
And fielding takes a little bit of gelling. You don't just go out there and kick ass right away.
They're also in their early 20s as well, correct?
It doesn't matter. I mean, the age is not really the factor here.
Nothing
It's the
but a number.
experience. Yeah, I mean, you could totally have a team of 50-year-olds that would kick the crap out of 20-year-olds. There's no doubt about that.
Like last year.
All right, moving on. This is the Rat Radio No One's Listening show. A show about Key Biscayne stuff. It's Wednesday, November 4th, 2015, and it is 6:45 p.m. The time changed the other day, and now it's dark.
Yeah, it messed me all up.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to
Songs?
What are you listening to exactly? A little segment on our show where, because we're a radio station and we play music, we suggest a song for you. You want to go first, Griff?
Sure. My song this week is based off one of the greatest saxophonists of all time, named Stan Getz. And the song that I picked is Samba, Triste. And it's from the late 60s, when Stan Getz was collaborating with Tom Jobim and João Gilberto. And it's phenomenal. I suggest everybody should listen to it.
Cool. From listening to all that funk last week, I out-funked myself, and then I went back to a regular album that I've been listening to this year, which is the Jacuzzi Boys self-titled album from 2013. The Jacuzzi Boys are these guys from Miami. They play like a garage rock, but this album's a little more mellow than what they've played on all the other albums. I don't know how to explain it, but I just love how it sounds. The bassist is the son of Reina from the Boater's Grill, and right now they're touring in Europe or something. Anyway, the song I'm going to recommend is called Hotline by the Jacuzzi Boys, and it's it's cool. I can't find the lyrics anywhere because they're not big enough that their lyrics get published, but it's like a song where he just lists it. It's got a really cool like bass line and thing, but he seems to just be listing electric appliances. And so, I don't know. It's a cool song. That's not a good description of it, but check it out. Jacuzzi Boys Hotline. Manny?
Oh, Rafa, I had a really good song and band, even better band for you tonight. I know, I saw them, but I can't remember their name. I'm Googling up all the times and places that I was there. I'm gonna get back to you
Okay.
next week. Thank you. You're gonna love it.
All right. And Gannon, you have anything or no?
I don't think it's anything too groundbreaking, but I really like Dispatch. I think we should put more of them on the radio.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to even look them up.
And Elias is the one I would recommend. It's like a 5-6 minute long song, I think. And I don't know. I just really enjoy it. They're pretty, I guess they consider them like an indie group, but they're pretty mainstream. And
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from them
definitely
in a while.
very granola and crunchy.
No, but they sound like a Sublime-ish inspired but not but more rock. I know they play a lot of Sublime covers at their shows and stuff like that. And they were big a couple years ago, and we used to play them on the radio all the time. So I got to get some more of them on the radio. That's for sure. That's a band that needs to be on there. It's classic feel good stuff. All right, now let's get to the talk of the town.
The fun stuff.
That's where we talk about what's going on in town. Okay, let's go with the funniest thing right off the bat, okay? There was a party at Novecento on Sunday night, and these guys got in a fight over who was the biggest key rat. Manny, I think you were there. Can you enlighten us on exactly what happened? Like, fists were thrown, yes?
No, it was almost the end of the party by this time. The party was
fantastic. It always is when these things happen.
I always think that fights happen when it's the end of the party and the guys that have a lot of testosterone haven't managed to pull.
Well, it was fun because it was a birthday party for Eric Lang, the pop-up birthday party that was put together. We were like, where should we go? We'll go somewhere and just have a couple beers. Just the guys, right? There's all the guys saying this, all the, married guys saying it, like, let's just go the guys. So we went and we decided to go to 900, and it was great, man. It was 45 buddies, probably 80% of them grew up on the Key, seeing people. It was like the 4th of July in Key Biscayne, where you see the ghosts, people pop up out of nowhere. And it was great, man. We had the whole bar there at 900. We had food. Someone brought a band in. It was a great band. I sent you guys some videos of it. It was awesome. So it was a great party. And then during the party, these two guys started you could see them getting heated and talking. I was like, oh, man. Because once upon a time on the Key, parents weren't like clamoring to have their kids called key rats. You know what I mean? It was beer drinking, pot smoking, fighters. And I could see these two guys talking, and I could see it getting heated. And I went over there to stand next to him, and I said, "You're not a fucking real key." I'm sorry. You're not a real key rat. No, you're not a real key rat. And they were just going off, and they were trying to compare like who was. No, your mother's a member of the yacht club, and you're not. And you're not supposed to be a member. It was just all kinds of stuff. And they just went at it. And people saw it. No punches were thrown. Necks were maybe grabbed. When they grabbed the neck?
Yeah.
And they were separated. The people at 900 were like,
what is going on?
Yeah, what is...
Apparently the rugby guys also get pretty crazy in there.
Okay.
So it was separated, and they kissed and made up at the end. So it was nice.
So who's the bigger key rat?
Well, I mean... Chuckie's the bigger key rat. Chuckie, man, I had your back. Dude. I saw it coming all the way. I know you didn't need me. I know you would have plowed that dude. But then again, you never know what someone might pull out.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then at the same thing. Oh no, maybe it wasn't at the same thing. This was.
It's not another one of my friends, is it?
No. So I was talking to a buddy of mine. He said he was hanging out with some people, and this guy that's neighbors with the booter. They live at the Ambassador. The booter and this other guy.
That is one of my friends. That's
one
of
is
my best friends.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe I don't even know what happened. What happened? I can't believe.
So this is what I'll tell you. This is all.
Don't mention any names.
Third-hand account.
No
okay?
names, please.
No
names.
Okay, so the booter lives at the Ambassador, and he has a neighbor who's apparently friends with some of our friends and your friends and all this stuff. So the neighbor, who's friends with some of the people in our groups and circles, he takes the booter out for a drink or something, and he's there, and he's like introducing him to all his buddies, like, oh, this is...
On the Key?
Yeah, on the Key.
Where were they?
I think they were at 900, I don't know. And he was like, oh, yeah, this guy, he's a good kid. You should meet this guy. He's my neighbor. He's a great kid. And so one of these guys that you said is a good friend of yours, he's like, oh, yeah, like, hey, how's it going? And it's like he's sticking his hand out to say hi to him. He looks at him. He finally sees who it is. He notices it's the booter. And he just goes like rage mode, like, you better get the fuck out of here.
Come on.
I'm gonna kill you type of thing. I don't know what words were said, but it was basically like, if you don't leave, I'm going to punch you right now, you know? And the kid had to run away. I mean, the booter's only like 24 or something. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, and so the kid had to run away. He had to run home.
Nice.
And then it turns out that what happened is that the guy who threatened him had seen the booter boot a mom while she was putting her kids in the car. Okay, so while she's putting the kids in the car, he comes and
practice.
boots right, like while while this is all happening, like she's leaving. You know what I mean? And he boots her right there. He thought it was unacceptable. And then the person who told me this whole story, because this is all, like I told you guys, like a third, fourth hand account. So, this person, he's like, oh, and I was trying to park at the SunTrust, and it was like 6 o'clock on the dot, and the booter came to me, and he was like, oh, it's 6 o'clock, you're safe, you know, like.
Why? What's the rule?
After 6, you can park there. Okay, so here's the other. But then he told me, that the booter had booted a bunch of people like at 5:45 type of thing. You know, like nobody's using the parking lot, but he booted all these people anyway. So that's why people don't like the booter. But I mean, I'm not gonna advocate violence, but I love the fact that he knows that that somebody told him it's unacceptable. You know, and somebody who hadn't been booted. Yeah, this is unacceptable.
Got ratted out.
He's violating the unspoken ethics.
Yeah.
Of the key rats.
Yeah, got ratted out.
And one of our enforcers got in touch with him. we won't name the enforcer, but I saw him at Subway the other day and patted him on the back. And I haven't been booted yet, but.
So a bunch of Cuban refugees landed on the Key in a sailboat.
That was awesome.
You saw that?
Yeah, when somebody posted it at early in the morning. Actually, didn't even post it. My friend was out there walking the beach, and he put it up on our friend thread. And I was like, man, I'm going to go out there. Is it still there? We went out there. We picked up some of the oars. You see that one? See the picture of it? I strapped it to my golf cart. But inside it was tremendous. The sails were made of like rice and like sugar bags. It was beautiful, perfectly sewn. The workmanship was incredible, and the oars were. I'll show you the oar. I mean, it's amazing. I'm going to take it out and actually paddle with it. I've got it on my cart, strapped to my cart. It's called Freedom Cart Paddle Club. That's it, Freedom Cart. But the strangest thing was inside, amongst all like the shoes, sneakers, and backpacks and gas cans and water bottles, all that. There were about like a half a dozen condoms, like in the packets, just floating around. Condoms.
You know what that sounds like? Like
maybe they were using them for something.
If we're going down, we might as well have fun.
Maybe they had a practical use for them.
PFDs, you mean? Like a PFD, in case they get pulled over by the Marine Patrol?
I don't know. Maybe they were using them to keep something dry. I don't know.
Well, there was 11 men and 4 women on the boat, and they were at sea for 5 days. Do you see the article?
That's very rough.
Yeah, 5 days.
Thank God they made it.
And there's video. I'll send you the link. There's video of the people on the beach when they arrived on Halloween night. Can you imagine? I mean, that's like the ultimate Halloween trick or treat. I mean, I'm dressed up. No, man, no. We're just in Halloween. We're not really Cubans. We're just dressed up. We're doing this thing tonight. There's a guy with a camera. It's almost like they could have made it if they were dry foot. Yeah. If they got pulled over out there, there's like, no, it's just Halloween.
Thank God they did make it.
Yeah, that's awesome. The boat did look good, though. I mean,
it was amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hey, look, it's Chuckie Duncan calling in.
No, it's not. Is this someone you're gonna put on the air?
Chuckie, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, it is.
Dude, I heard that you guys were talking about the stupid fight, but it wasn't about who was a key rat.
Hang on, Chuckie. Before you say another word, you're on the air right now. Is that all right with you?
I don't need to be on the air, but it had nothing to do with. It had to do with a mouthy person that was telling somebody else about key rats and a bunch of other crap, and I got tired of his crap because he's always looking for trouble. And he said he's been in 700 fights, and he's a nice guy. Pushed him, that's all.
Hey, you're the biggest key rat, Chuck.
Leave it at that.
Hey, listen, there was nothing. You didn't do anything wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong, really.
No, but this is
ongoing, and he was mouthy. And he was mouthy about stuff that he didn't even know about. And I never hit him. I just pushed him, told him to shut his mouth, because he does it all the time at the yacht club. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, and we have image, and I mean we're not going to put this on the air on the website or anything, but you guys made up, and we showed you guys hugging it out.
Yeah, no, I called him, and I've known him all my life, but he just says the wrong things at the yacht club, and he said the wrong thing at Novecento with Zuccherini and stuff, and I just told him that enough is enough. And he kept going on the whole night. Even when I was already gone, I heard he was still going on. I talked to him. I called him.
I didn't hear him say anything after you were gone, Chuckie. Actually, I think I left before you.
Yeah, he did. He even told something to some of the other people, but, like Craig said, shut it. And he shut it finally, but he kept going. So it's no big deal. He's a good guy, but I just got tired of his mouth, and I just told him to shut it. I should have never pushed him, but,
You should have kicked
like
his ass.
He's a good guy.
Rafa.
I didn't want you guys to think that. I didn't want you to think that it happened because of a key rat. He was arguing with Zuccherini about a key rat or something, and I told him just to shut it because he always does this when he drinks. So.
Well, Chuckie, we really appreciate you calling in and clearing that up. That's how wrong rumors get started. But and as you know, Rafa.
You have me on the air? You're telling me? I'm telling you. I didn't know you put me on the air.
You can't call in during the middle of the show.
Thanks for calling, Chuckie. Appreciate it.
That was good.
Great, somebody's
good.
listening.
Somebody's listening.
That's great to hear.
Right, Pamela. Hi, Pamela.
That's going to go down in the history books, his side of the story, because we haven't heard the other side.
It was and I don't think there even needs to be another side of the story. Chuckie said that he's a good guy and everything's all right.
That's
it's all squashed. It's over. Thanks for that call, Chuck.
Squashed.
Moving on. It's Wednesday, November 4th, 2015. It's 7 p.m. And here's the trivia question. How much for a ticket to the Greg Allman Show at Marine Stadium on March 25th, 1974? If you know the answer to that, 305-361-8557. And you'll win a couple of beers.
I already gave the answer.
Yeah,
$7.95. $7.95.
You're close, but no cigar.
Even if you were right, would you say that he was right? Because this is for our listeners.
It's for the listeners.
Yeah,
there's one listener out there.
I don't think they're.
What do you mean?
She's there.
I don't think they're inspired by the trivia. I think you can get the listeners to call if you say something very contentious.
All right.
You have a topic. I remember that time we did a show about Spanish speaking and English speaking on the key, and we got like 3 calls.
No. We got some afternoon drinkers calling in on that one, that's for sure.
Okay, let's see what else I got written down here. It was a slow news week, as it can be. So this is going to be boring to you guys, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. Remember how I talked to you guys about those golf cart trolleys that they were going to do? So they got them all prepared and everything. And so they were going to do the thing with the app, so it would be like an Uber. You straight up get it to your house.
I thought that was a done deal.
It's it's ready to go. That's the problem. So this goes to the meeting to have it go up on the meeting. And so the people putting it together is the Community Foundation. They have organized figuring out the logistics and who's going to run it and all that stuff. And the person on the council who was going to introduce it on last Tuesday was Mike Kelly. And so Mike Kelly gets word that it's not just on demand, that it has the circular part where it just takes laps around the key. And when he finds this out, he decides he doesn't want to talk about it or bring it up or do anything because he thinks that the circular part is just not good for the key, that nobody will use it. And he's probably right. I mean, the circular thing is going to be much less used than the on-demand. But what's the problem? That federal money for transportation stuff, or Florida money for transportation stuff, I'm not sure where the money's coming from, but it's not from us. That money can't be used for on-demand services. It has to be used for circulating things. So the Community Foundation, Melissa, was like, let's get this going with the circular, and then because we don't have the budget's already been set, and we didn't put this in our own budget to spend our own money, and we have to use that outside money. We'll do that with the circular, and then once next year comes around, we'll put in the on-demand service, right? Well, this guy gets in a fight, Mike Kelly, about not bringing it up. Then he's like, it's my... and then Theo's like, well, I want to bring it up then. Put it in. He tells Conchita over there. He's like, put it in. I'm bringing it up. And then Mike's like, no, you can't bring it up. This is my thing. And then Theo's like, no, I had thought about this too like a year ago. And you have to watch it because it's so pathetic. And
that's a strong word there.
It's childish. It's like so petty. And so finally they got to talk about it, and finally they decided that I think it's in limbo, and I was supposed to, I don't know, I think it's in limbo right now, and they're trying to sort it out. But I think it's coming. I think it's going to be on demand eventually, and it might be circular at the start, but you just text the guy to come pick you up.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Technicalities.
So, golf cart trolleys are on the way, I hope.
I could have used one the other night when my golf cart ran out of juice dropping you off, Rafa. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it, Gannon.
Gotta keep that thing plugged in when it's at home, man.
You're right. It's on me, totally.
I mean,
it is. I would have run out. I would have run out of juice somewhere else if it wasn't for dropping you off, because I was going to go somewhere else, so I would have run out of juice.
Oh, tell us more.
I can't because I ran out of battery power and had to walk the rest of the way.
All right, what else is going on the island? Feel free to interrupt me if you guys have something you want to talk about that's more interesting than any of this stuff. Oh man. The Chamber of Commerce got new directors, and when I saw this in the paper, all I could think was, what does the Chamber of Commerce do exactly? Does anybody know?
They promote key businesses and
network.
I know they do the flamingos, or at least they used to.
It's a good place for all key businesses to get to know each other, and also probably outside individuals.
Yeah, they could probably leverage their advertising power for big events that happen down here. We're actually getting to the busy time of year, or the beginning of the busy time of year. So and they have little Gettys and stuff.
It's good. It's good. I mean, if you're a business on Key Biscayne, I think it's wise to join.
Is it?
Yeah, it's part of the community. You have to.
What does it take to join it? You just say
sign
I want
up.
Money. No,
just
you
sign
gotta
up.
pay.
But it's not a crazy amount. But it's
And we pay as taxpayers.
What is it?
Too. We pay them too.
Yeah, well, Kathy Sussinger runs the whole operation, and basically, I think their mission statement is to promote our commerce out here. Obviously, I mean, I guess one of the things they do, they hand out awards for key businesses and put on events that promote. I
didn't realize we pay for that.
Yeah, we pay. It's like we give them a.
There's at least 2 employees there.
Yeah, they get in. Not that much. I mean, it's like $70,000 or $80,000. It might be $60,000.
What could you
That's
do with
why
that,
I asked.
Rafa? Get the radio station
Exactly.
going.
I mean, the reason I asked is because of that. Is because they do pay them, and then I just never see any type of chamber or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't see any. I don't know. That's why maybe we should get somebody from Mike Davies on the directors now. Maybe he could call in one day and explain to us.
I can get Kathy Sussinger on the radio to talk about exactly what they do and defend their department. Next
Dial
show.
her up.
Well, give her a heads up for the next show.
Rafa doesn't like heads ups.
Heads up, 7-Up.
But she could definitely go on a little bit of a speech about what she does for the community, because I know she's very passionate about it. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, we
She's cool.
we have a community event going on tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Bring that up.
Just take a second. I know I mentioned it the other day that we're having a.
We're out of topics. You talk all you want.
Plenty of time, right? Tomorrow, and in the Garden District, we're going to put the garden in the district, in your district. Key Biscayners, come on out. 155 Sunrise Drive. We're having a potluck neighborhood party. Good old potluck neighborhood party, 5 to 7:30 tomorrow night. It's going to be it's kind of just a gathering in the Garden District to say, hey, look, you know what? We don't want to keep missing opportunities to find green space and to find open space. And there's a place right across the street at 202 Sunrise that is one of those opportunities. So come on out and just hang out and chat and see what it's like there.
Are you guys going to block the road?
We're not going to block the road. We're going to do it on the sidewalk. We're going to, grill some hot dogs. We're going to have some margaritas out there.
I think it's great. I think it's great to, create community awareness. A lot of people that live here in this community aren't aware. They don't care. But I think it's great.
Well, actually, today we decided, last night we got together at my house and we made a bunch of signs, like the signs that you put in people's yards. And it was fun. It was a nice group of people getting together at my new place. They were over, made these signs, and we went out this morning. We're like, let's post these signs. So we went out and we took about a dozen signs and we put them on Crandon, up and down Galen, Sunrise, East Enid. And as we circled around, we noticed that, wait a second, we put signs there. They're gone. They're gone there. They're gone there. They actually missed a couple. But code enforcement came through and cleaned out all the signs within 5 minutes. And so, we did a public service today. We were just testing our code enforcement. Well, I'm happy at the results because, truthfully, we can't have people putting signs all over the place.
Well, let me tell you two things about that. First, when political season comes up and people have signs, code enforcement turns a blind eye and lets them be up where they're not supposed to be. I'm not sure why they do that.
I think we should start a renegade group that just goes and enforces
I think there is already.
And takes all those political signs up. And if anybody says anything, we say, well, we're just doing
there's already one of those.
I don't
think you want to be part of that one.
You can't take them out of people's yards. That's allowed. But what's not allowed is putting them in public places.
Swale.
Yeah, on the
Well, what's also not allowed is putting them in your yard if you live east of Crandon. So in the multifamily units, you can't put them out there.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of places. Now, getting to that, so last time they turned a blind eye, I forgot who the candidate was, this guy that had no chance of winning. And he had signs everywhere.
Kelly? No, Alex something. Alex, I remember
Lipzer?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy had his signs everywhere, and they didn't take them, and they should have taken them because they were in the places that they couldn't be.
Really? He complained about losing signs. I remember that.
I mean, if you take them out of people's yards, that's not allowed. But they're not allowed to be. I had one on the corner of Seaview and Crandon. I remember specifically that it was there. And I was like, you can't have this here. And there's 3 of them because he put them everywhere,
Well, we went over to the village office and we met with some folks there right after. I mean, within minutes. I wasted my morning. We got our signs back, and they were super cool because each sign carries a $250 penalty fee. That's why when we were talking about fees before.
Yeah.
So they didn't come heavy on us with that, which was nice.
Now I'll tell you another thing that's pretty interesting that it hasn't been challenged here, but the Supreme Court ruled this year in a case where a church had a certain sign, and I think a politician had a certain other sign, and this town had regulations that said some can be bigger than others, and some can be out, and some can't. Okay, and the Supreme Court ruled that towns aren't allowed to specify sizes or types of messages that are allowed out because it's it's choosing one type of speech over another type of speech, okay? So the village allows real estate signs, tiny ones, the ones that say for sale, like the little brokerage ones, all year, okay? So that, if you interpret the Supreme Court decision right, and somebody, if you know what I'm talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, 305-361-8557. But this can be interpreted to say that you can have whatever sign you want in the exact same place as that real estate sign, okay? Saying whatever you want. Right now you can't. If it's not a real estate sign and you put up your own sign that's not that, they won't let you do it, but this thing has been ruled this year, and so I think you could have gotten away with it if you really wanted to mount the challenge, right?
It would have had to be the same size as those little hangers,
yeah, exactly.
Which is little bit bigger than index cards.
Yeah.
Those are tiny.
Yeah.
Well, what I did was actually I took a bunch of the signs and I strapped them, bungee corded them all over my golf cart, and then I parked it right in front of the village center and so it was out there all day. So anyone that was walking, which are the people we really want to communicate to anyway, or even just driving through there on their way back to and from school.
I mean, let's be honest. So, I mean, the best way to organize your party is through social media anyways.
Yeah, we did that.
Exactly.
And
I mean, signs are nice and everything. You'll get the occasional walker, but if you have you're definitely going to get the best showing if you just use your Facebook network to.
Well, I don't have that many friends, G-Man, but.
Yeah, no, I'm not even on Facebook. But I'm just all the events that we've tried to put on. I mean,
the idea is
if we try to go around and like staple signs, it's just not worth the effort, really.
Well, we learned that today, but our thought was to
kind of include the people that you don't know that are in
we only had a day.
The garden district.
We started super late, so we only had a day anyway to announce, and we're thinking, well, we're gonna have this little block party, and there's gonna be 10 of us there. So I know Rafa's not gonna be there because he's heading out of town tomorrow.
Yeah, my buddy Austin Tellum. If you guys know the Tellums from the Key, he is getting married tomorrow. This Saturday, and we're all going out to Harbor Island for a sweet wedding.
And dude, you have the perfect hair for this trip right now. You have got the perfect hair farm going.
My hair's awesome right now. You can't see my hair on the radio, but I'm telling you guys. Anyway, back to the signs. I saw somebody right when I was coming over here outside on the corner there with a sign.
Yeah,
saying,
Jocelyn was out there. Yeah, Jocelyn.
Advertising. You say that the social media is something. I mean, you're right that the social media reaches probably more people and better, but there's something character that gives a homey feel about seeing signs.
That's our idea.
You know, like that there's actual movement in the streets type of thing.
We talk about it here on the show. You know, the activism in Key Biscayne is, we seem to talk about it a lot lately, don't we? There's, whether it's, somebody quieting the boot guy, or a Marine Stadium demonstration, or,
I think you guys would have been best served. I mean, I guess hindsight's 2020. But if
it's not hindsight yet. We haven't.
If you went, I guess it's hard in the Garden District. Why
do you use quotes when you say that? We're going to just call it Garden District, no quotes.
As soon as somebody else other than you calls it the Garden District, I guess I'll stop doing that.
Call in.
But I guess it's hard to go door to door in the Garden District.
Thank you.
But if you could, like, just contact people in the area, knock on their door or whatever, buzz their thing and say, hey, we're having a party down the street tomorrow. That'd probably be a legal way of going about it, right?
Yeah, wasn't yesterday a voting day in Miami for commissioners?
It was, but City of Miami, I think, right? Does anybody know? Did Sarnoff pull it off?
From my understanding, from what I read, I think it's Ken Russell and Sarnoff. So, yeah.
So the Marine Stadium, still a fight. Anyway, tell again, before we sign off on that block party, tell us again when it was.
It's tomorrow, Thursday, November 5th. From 5 to 7:30. It's a potluck party, so if you want to bring something, we'll have tables. You can throw it on there. If you don't want to bring anything, that's cool too. So just stop on by.
Quick question: Where do we stop by?
155 Sunrise Drive.
And is it going to be like in front of the building, in the back?
Right in front of the building. You won't miss it. You won't miss it.
That's McCall's building.
Perfect. And where can we park? If we're not biking, if we're not walking,
it's a pedestrian-friendly party. So that's kind of the whole thing. Great point, Griff.
So leave the golf carts at home?
You could probably bring the golf carts, and we'll line them up there on the street. And I think it'll be fine.
Bring the Vespa
or on the swales.
I'll bring the Vespa.
Bring the Vespa for sure. Just walk over. Are you back on the Key now, Griff?
Yeah, I'm back, and hopefully in a month.
Are you back at your new place?
No. I'm renting at my mother-in-law has an apartment, and we're staying there for a month. And then 1 month, my apartment should be ready.
So you're back on site, on premise, on the Key.
I'm so happy. It feels good to be back on the bubble.
That is so good.
Because it's great out here. I love it.
Yeah, and you're just around. You can make yourself available anytime. That's the good thing about the Key. Who was I talking to? Oh, it was Grant's girlfriend. She was talking to us at Jess's 30th birthday about how lucky we are to have a group of friends that still is together for so long and all this stuff. And she was like, yeah, I have some good friends, but none of them are kind of friends with each other. They all live all over the place, all over Miami. And so I have to, like, meet up with them one-on-one. It doesn't always happen. So I was explaining, like, yeah, we're friends. We don't all know each other from forever. We know of each other. We've met, but we weren't all friends. It's the geography that makes it that way, you know? So that's what's so nice about living like that. That tight geography lets you go to things that you maybe wouldn't drive across town for, but you will just show up because, hey, it's right there, you know? And
well, that was one of the nice things of that Party 900 on Sunday, that there was, 30, 40 guys there that have known each other for 40 years, or more, or 30 years, or 25, or, that just came together. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, and it's all age groups as well.
Yeah.
All types of, walks of life, as you could say.
And you can't have that without a town like this, because it's just you're just not gonna show up to a thing like that on the spur of the moment. You're not gonna.
The thing is this, Rafa, is that we have to be active in it.
Yeah.
You have to be active in. It's always easy to not do it. You know what I mean? It's always easy to not bring people together, or to go to a Sunday thing, or to show up at this. But when you do it, over time, often the cumulative effect is exponential. So that's an opportunity that we have living here to be able to do that kind of thing.
Well, that goes back to what we do with the radio. Number one, it tries to build that type of thing. That's why we have it. Number two, the Calusa Club was built to do that type of thing. And it's funny. I was telling people yesterday when we were talking about that grant, to get the grant for the radio. Did we talk about that on the show?
No, we talked about it before the show.
Oh, okay.
We have time, though.
Yeah, we have.
You want to talk about it?
Plenty of time. Going freeform right now. So we need some money. That's something I should have brought up. Yeah, the radio could use a little bit of money. We've poured our own money into it, and a good amount. And we could use a little more to get this.
$50, right? We're in for $50 so far.
You're in for $50. So it would be nice to get like some benefactors or somebody who appreciates the radio to donate us a little money, so we can get this this thing real tight, And so
there's an opportunity for that, right?
Well,
you were talking about a grant that's available.
Exactly. So there's I was at the corner last night talking with this chick who's into the arts, and she knows all this grant stuff. And so what I mentioned when I started thinking about, like, what would you say to the grant people, like, that your thing is, and it's this. We live in a place, okay, that's tiny. It's like 1 square mile, okay? And you have all these people living in close proximity. They all see each other in the same places, okay? And I'm talking about more about the people you don't know. We all see each other. We go to the same places. You see people at the supermarket. You might see the same people that you don't know. These people, we're all. It's not even that we don't agree on the same things, because that's totally normal that people might not agree on topics. It's that we're not even thinking about the same topics. Even in this 1 square mile, people are not on the same page of what is going on around them and what is, I wouldn't say important, but kind of relevant to their existence, right? And so a radio station like this, what it can do, and a show like this, is kind of get the people talking about the same things and the things that are affecting them in town, basically. Because you have so many people who consider Key Biscayne just Miami, and so it's just Miami, but it's not. And we're a testament to that with our situations where we were just talking about now, how you can't get this type of community involvement without the geography, the close geography. So anyway, that's the little circle jerk on how awesome we are.
I have a little shout out. Just wanted to say my wife, my beautiful wife, Carolina, yesterday turned 31. It's a big day for her. And also we had another friend of ours named Derek Weaver. He had a birthday as well. So just a little shout out for them.
Happy birthday to them.
Going back to what you were saying, Rafa, the other day, I work out currently like in the middle of the state, fire station out there. And so we take about an hour ride together on the way back. Usually everybody just kind of, sleeps or whatever. Sometimes listen to music. Sometimes we talk. And this time we were talking, and people were like asked, like, Gannon, what do you do? Like, what do you do on all your time off? Because we get, pretty good amount of time off in the fire department. And you don't have kids, you're not married, whatever. And they asked me, and I was like, well, one of the things I do is the radio station. And nobody could really grasp, what was going on with that. And they're like, well, why do you do that? I kind of explained the setup we have here and how it's run and how I just kind of enjoy the hobby of it, for one. But there really was no way to explain, like, the community and why we have things to actually talk about here, where we care about this place that we've lived our entire lives and the people we know. And because everybody else in that van was just living where it made the most sense for them financially to live. It's a good neighborhood. They have good security. It's close to work, whatever. They have nobody else in that van had a connection to their community whatsoever. Their connection actually is probably mostly through work. They're the guys we know, which is, it's a beautiful thing in the fire department, but nobody has what we have out here. There's like 10 houses on the key right now still, even so many people have left the key that I could just walk into right now and say, oh man, I got some real problems in my life, and I have had problems in my life recently, and I've had to do this, where you can just walk into somebody's house and say, I need the refuge here, because it's such a community that I have at least built out here. And there's a lot of stuff that we all care about. That's why we come here to talk about it. And it's something really special that most people don't have.
You guys do a good job, G-Man, really, of bridging from your generation. You know what I mean? So, and, it's a challenge when you see kind of what's coming next. There's still that spirit here, for sure. Something we struggle with, I think, all of us, thinking that the key's not the same. You hear people out there in Miami, they're like, yeah, the key, but it's not the same. There's a lot of stuff at the key that, but I think that thread still runs through multi-generations, and it will continue to.
I would like to believe that, Manny, but I just don't know.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly my point. That's an example of what you kind of see and hear and feel out there. One thing I was thinking is a lot of people come here and they leave. Have you noticed that lately?
What do you mean?
Oh, it's been like that forever. It's all cyclical. They come, they leave, but
I just don't see the investment like the guys who are younger than I'm about to turn 30. I don't see the investment and the experience and the commitment that the young. I don't see that.
Well, to compare to you guys, your group is different.
The ski dock, for example.
Yeah.
Like that's never going to happen again unless our group of friends make it.
But even your group of friends, the group above them,
there was a big gap.
It was different.
There was a very big gap.
Right. So maybe there'll be a renaissance, but I just don't see it because.
You'll never know. Maybe in a few years.
I know we talked about this a few shows ago. It's like the guys who are getting working class jobs, like I sort of have, and Bob kind of has. Those guys don't exist on the key anymore. The guys who actually know how to swing a hammer and build stuff, those are not the kind of types we're raising out here.
That's for sure.
So what is that going to lead to? That's not going to lead to ski docks getting built and any kind of, key rat innovation happening.
G-Man, how old are you?
29 and 300 and.
You're 29.
40 days.
You're 29, dude, and I'm 48.
Okay.
So you have a lot of years that you can continue to impart and trust. Imagine when I was 29, you were 9. You were still not what you have become and what you guys' group has become. So trust it. Stay out here. Find a way to stay out here, and keep all that spirit alive. Keep all that energy alive, and you'll find it. find the next wave.
I'm a big believer in what Manny's saying is because there was a big generational gap, and I'm pretty sure you could say the same thing in the sense of, 10 years down the road, who knows, maybe there's going to be a younger generation of key rats or people that live on the key that will want to make the difference or will want to make the effort for the community. We just don't see it now. So I think later on...
Those kids that are those people that are swinging hammers to build ski docks, they're like in second grade right now.
Yeah, just give it time. Be patient.
I don't know.
I don't think they're being bred for that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, I could go on. I think that the loss of blue collar residents on the Key it's been real bad for the makeup of the Key.
Your parents blue collar?
No.
All right.
No.
So, but
I mean, how many of your friends' parents were blue collar?
Yeah, but you got to consider that these guys are newish to the Key.
None, right?
Bob's dad.
Okay. One.
Let me see. I mean, I can't.
You can't name a handful, probably.
Very few.
Out of your solid group of 50 people.
I think my grandparents who lived on the Key. I mean, my grandfather came here as a World War II veteran.
Okay.
And participated in the military.
That's fair. That's two generations ago.
But those are the roots out here.
Well, those roots are still here. Those are still the roots. The roots don't change.
Well, they kind of do.
Not if you're still carrying it on.
Right. I'm the last tendril of it because honestly,
left.
How much it costs to raise a
family there was
here,
a big.
It's not likely
they're
going to be putting more roots out here.
Yeah, that big exodus was bad for the island. Okay, even if. And let me tell you something. Just because they're my parents doesn't mean they get some kind of free pass on the fact that number one, they never assimilated completely, like as they I think would have been better. I know it's hard to do, obviously, so you can't just expect people to do these things, but it would have been better if they had assimilated more. And so yeah, I'm saying a healthy mix is what's a good thing for a community. Not that everybody be blue collar. That would change the dynamic too. It's that healthy mix that they had, that there was still here in the 80s, probably was way better in the 70s, where there was still up and there was white and blue, good mix. But by the end of the 90s, and now there's
there is no blue collar in the.
Well, there's Chuckie, and there's Oscar just left, which sucks.
I consider myself a residual of the influence of that generation too.
Who's going to fix my AC system?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see too many kids riding around in 13-foot
It's good to have a healthy mix. You know what? This is funny because I always say this about bars too. I was telling somebody the other day, I don't like to go to a bar where everybody's beautiful. There has to be some ugly people at the bar. If not, the place sucks. It's too uptight. And that's what's going to happen to us if when we don't have that mix. It gets too uptight. We need to have the mix. The mix is what's right. And if it goes only the other way, so don't get me wrong, if it was all blue collar, then it would be too rough. It would
be the west coast of Florida.
Yeah, it'd be too rough around the edges. We wouldn't like it either. It's that mix that you want.
The best thing about the Key is it's where everybody wanted to be, but there was some rough-necky types around, but it was Miami. Everybody wanted to be here, but you had, just like Rafa says, a good mix, a good spectrum going on. It wasn't Fisher Island.
Yeah, but that's what they want it to be.
But I think it's going to change because, like I was saying earlier, it is cyclical, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that come and go because a lot of people rent or a lot of people from Europe.
So Tommy the mechanic is going to move into the $3 million house?
No, which is what I was going to. It's still cyclical, but it's going to change. Yeah, it is going to get only more expensive, but hopefully there's still going to be that.
I've met a lot of people that have come here and moved here and bought the $2 million house or the $3 million. And there's some cool people. There's some people that still like to do this kind of stuff.
Of course,
and that party that we had the other night at 900, of those 40 guys that were there, they all have kids too. And whether those kids are going to be able to stay here or not, whatever, but they're still going to grow up with. The peace that this island still somehow, imparts on people. And, it's fading out.
I think we got to sell it more. I mean, as we got to be heavy-handed explaining it to a certain extent. They should have talks about that at the schools. And I say that because Miami has gotten so close to the Key. I mean, I remember when Miami was so far away. Miami was like, I mean, it's always been the same distance, but getting out there was not. It was a damn. It wasn't that easy to get out there. It felt like a real chore to get out there. Now it's not. Now people who live in the Key live in Miami, they think. I mean, like, in their brains, they're in Miami. They might live all their lives, like, communities out there. Back then, it wasn't like that. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong to think
Manny,
this way? I mean, obviously, it wasn't like before the bridge. Definitely. I mean, that was like a physical separation. But even then, I remember it was like, I don't know. There was more of a disconnect between here and Miami. And now it's getting
when I was
closer and
growing up,
closer.
we were in Miami all the time, and it was even easier because it wasn't like today on US 1 at 2 p.m. with solid traffic heading south. It was easy. Everything was the Key. Everything was 20 minutes away from home. Wherever you wanted to go, it was 20 minutes away.
But was the split bigger?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think
my perspective.
I just don't think the physical distance or the driving distance has anything to do with it. I think it's just more of the demographics of the Key now, and the culture of the rich family with the wife who doesn't really work, works out with T-Fit or whatever. It's just a much different family model than what I grew up with, where my mom was working at the school, my dad would go off into town to work, and we'd have dinner at 6:30 p.m. And
there's no question.
It's just a different culture, and no amount of talks or anything is gonna change that. Yeah, it's still gonna be a beautiful place to grow up, and I would love to raise my kids here. The culture that I appreciate or not, I'll make it work. But we have a certain couple. Sorry for going over time. We have a certain couple that totally holds down what we see as Key Biscayers, and they're able to live on the Key for whatever reason, and they're holding it down, but they don't feel like they fit in here, and they would have fit in here 20 years ago, undoubtedly.
Oh, the Newsomes.
Yes, the Newsomes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be.
And there are not many people like that out here, where just low-key people still able to hold it down and afford to live on the Key, yet still appreciate that lifestyle that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We need more people like that, but I don't see more people like that. I see people like that getting chased out. Yeah.
They're special for sure.
Yeah.
Those people are special, but I'm telling you that they don't really run in your circle, because the only reason you came across those people is because of your love for your sport. That's the only reason you connected with them. There's not a lot of people that age really going out there to play Ultimate that are of that group, that are just kind of being able to hold it down here. But they're out here, man. I'm telling you, they're still out here.
I guess what I meant to say by the distance is that the Key's just become a lot more cosmopolitan. Like, we're much more like city people. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. My mom moved here in '79, and she was like, "Man, this is a village.
Yeah.
This is a small village, not that many people." But you're absolutely right. But then again, you also have to think. What I was going to ask Manny earlier was, Manny, when you were younger, before the big bridge, how long would it take you to get off the Key?
I just don't think that's the timing. I don't think it matters how long it took you to get off the Key. It's just the culture has changed.
It's a matter of, do you want to leave the Key? And it takes you 30, 40 minutes, before the bridge goes up and down.
It's not like a boat's going through all the time.
I mean, yeah. And I like Manny's perspective, the optimism. I appreciate that. I'd love to live on the Key and raise kids out here. Don't get me wrong. And I hope it's the way you say it is. And I say we wrap it up that way, because that's all we can really do.
Yeah. You guys got anything else that's not so...
Deep?
Deep? Yeah, I guess deep is a word.
I got a pretty little pink hue here. I'm going to put it on this mangrove, and it's going to just brighten it up.
A little titanium white.
Good night, guys. Gannon's out.
Do you want to end on that? All right. Well, this is the No One's Listening show, Wednesday, November 4th, 2015. It's 7:40 p.m. We're going to call a show. Thanks for listening. If you're listening live, I never tell people this, but if you're listening live, the music tends to be a lot louder than the talking. So once the show's over, make sure you turn down your radio a little bit, because we're going to plug the music back in, and then it's going to be, if not, it'll be really loud in your car.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.